The 1990s were a true goldmine of great science fiction shows, including The X-Files, seaQuest DSV, Sliders, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Voyager, as well as many great short-lived cult classics like Earth 2 and Space Above and Beyond. But one of the most notable, and arguably one of the best, was Babylon 5, which originally ran for 5 seasons and would lead to several movies, including a failed spin-off. Greetings all you movie junkies and entertainment lovers, and welcome to another retrospective video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Babylon 5. The series was created by J. Michael Straczynski and follows the military staff and various alien diplomats that are stationed on a space station named Babylon 5, which was built in the aftermath of several major interspecies wars as a potential neutral ground for galactic diplomacy, whilst Babylons 1 through 3 were not finished due to multiple intergalactic wars, and Babylon 4 mysteriously disappeared, which is something that later becomes a crucial plot point of the main storyline later in the series. The majority of the show's plotlines revolve around interspecies wars and their aftermaths, with many episodes focusing on the effect of wider events on individual characters. Unusual for other shows of the time, Babylon 5 was conceived as a pre-planned 5-year story arc, whereas most other shows around the time would confine conflicts and stories to individual episodes, whilst Babylon 5 featured story arcs which span multiple episodes and seasons. The main story arc of the show is set between the years 2257 and 2262. Depicting a future where Earth has a one unified government and has gained the technology for faster-than-light space travel. The colonies within the solar system and beyond make up the Earth Alliance, which has established contact with various other species, many of which are represented on Babylon 5 itself. We later learn that 10 years before the beginning of the series, Earth barely escaped destruction by the much more technologically advanced species known as the Membari, who sought revenge on Earth after one of their starships unwittingly killed their leader during first contact, only for them to unexpectedly surrender on the brink of victory, another plot point that becomes more important later in the series. Earth has since established peaceful relationships with the Membari, and the Earth Alliance has become a significant power within the galactic community. Among the other species featured are the imperialist Centauri, the Narn who recently gained independence from the Centauri Empire, and the mysterious but powerful Vorlongs, while the many other less powerful species are referred to as the League of Non-Aligned Worlds. The series originally premiered in 1993 and ran for 5 seasons, in addition to multiple made-for-TV movies made during and after the series, each one taking place at different points during the timeline. The success of the series led to a failed spin-off titled Crusade, which was also intended to have a 5-year story arc. However, creative differences between the network and creator J. Michael Straczynski led to the show being cancelled after only 1 season, with only 13 episodes being produced. 2 more movies were made after the cancellation of Crusade, Babylon 5 Legend of the Rangers, and an anthology film titled Babylon 5 The Lost Tales, both of which were intended to potentially launch new series. Then after a 15-year absence, Babylon 5 would return in animated form for the 30th anniversary of the original series with Babylon 5 The Road Home, with all of the surviving cast members returning to voice their roles. In addition to the new animated movie, the entire original series will be remastered in high definition, but the picture was formatted to 4:3, while the previous DVD releases were released in 16:9 widescreen, leading to some confusion. While the original series was in pre-production, studios were looking at ways for their existing shows to make the transition from the standard 4:3 aspect ratio to the widescreen formats that would accompany the next generation of televisions. Babylon 5 was allowed to be shot on Super 35mm film stock so that it could be future-proofed for 60:9 widescreen formatted televisions that the producers knew were on the horizon. Unfortunately, the CGI scenes and those containing live action elements combined with digital effects could have been created in a suitable widescreen format, but instead a cost-saving decision was made to produce them in the 4:3 aspect ratio. So when those images were prepared for the DVD release, the top and bottom were simply cropped, and the remaining image blown up to match the dimensions of the non-effect live action footage, which noticeably reduced the image, making the already primitive effects look and age much worse. In the newly remastered version that's presented on the Blu-ray, they restored the original 4:3 aspect ratio as to preserve the CGI and effect shots, making the image quality on the Blu-ray release far superior to the DVDs, essentially presenting the series in the format as it originally aired. And because the series filmed full screen safe, you don't really feel like you're missing anything when watching the Blu-ray release. Now let's take a closer look at the Blu-ray box set itself. Okay, so taking a closer look at the Blu-ray set here, but before we take a look at the Blu-ray set, we're actually going to take that away and put it to the side so we can quickly take a look at my old DVD collection, which contains all of the movies and the spin-offs and stuff that you cannot get in the Blu-ray set. And this, you actually do want to hang on to this if you do own this already, or if you do own them separately or whatever, because again, there's a lot of stuff in here that is not included on the Blu-ray set, even though, again, you're mainly getting the Blu-ray set to have the show itself, the main show, the 5 seasons and stuff, in better quality. So this is a very big box set. This might be one of the biggest box sets that I own. So if we put it to the side here, you can see that it has the logo on each of the sides, and it's quite big on the back there. Well, this is actually supposed to be the front, but I normally like to display it on the other side. I prefer the slightly smaller logo. So there you go, there it is. And then if we turn it back around and then push it down this way, oh, we have a little view of the Babylon 5 station, which is quite nice. And I like sort of this motif as well. It very much captures the look and feel of the show. And then if we actually take the covering off here very carefully, you can see we got all our discs. So, and this covering here, if you can see I'm actually knocking there, is quite a nice and sturdy, I have to say. So let's, how am I going to do this? So if we take a look, I guess I'll just pull these out one by one. We'll just kind of push that to the side there. So first of up, we have the Gathering, which of course is the original pilot. And for those of you who are new to the show, this is where you want to start, because even though this was not quite on the same level as most of the rest of the series, it definitely does do a great job of giving you an idea of what Babylon 5 is all about, and basically just introducing you to the world. So if you haven't seen Babylon 5, this is where you want to start, because this pretty much will give you an idea of what it's all about, and kind of give you yourself an idea of whether or not you want to check out the rest of it. But again, just so you know, this definitely is not quite on the same level as the rest of the series, but it is definitely good. So I think that if you are somebody who is interested in Babylon 5, again, I still think this is the best place to start. So just keep in mind that it's, you know, a lot of elements from the pilot did not carry over into the main series. So that's that, and then I'm going to try and put these over to the side as we take them out here. And then we get into the season collections there. So there's season 1, and each season has its own title. So this is Signs and Portents. And each of the titles, I believe, are a name also of an episode as well. Really love the covers of these DVD sets. They did a really nice job of the covers on these. And then you have the, you know, Babylon 5 on the side there. Very, very nice. And pretty much almost all of the extras that are included on here are almost non-existent, if not non-existent, on the Blu-ray set. So again, if you do already own these and you care about a lot of those extras and those interviews and stuff, and make sure to keep your sets. Do not get rid of them in order to get the Blu-ray set, because again, there's a lot of good stuff on there. And then we have season 2, which is where they introduced Commander Sheridan, or Captain Sheridan, played by Bruce Boxleitner. And then of course this is the course titled The Coming of Shadows. This is when things really start to heat up in the storyline, the main storyline. Oh, there's the side there. So very, very nice. Tons of extras on these. Really cool. And then open it up, and there's the disc there. And then I'll just pop one of these out a second, just so I can show you that behind on all these you do have an episode guide of what's on each disc. So I won't do that for all of these because otherwise we'll be here forever, but that just kind of gives you an idea of what is, you know, behind the discs, so you can kind of see what is on each disc when you're going through watching them. And then we have season 3. I think, is it auto-focusing? Yeah, I think it seems to be. And then there's, this one's called Point of No Return. This is when they brought back Lyta Alexander, played by Patricia Tallman, who originally appeared in the pilot. So that's pretty cool. And then got all the extras and stuff on there. Very nice. And then all the discs. And as you can see, the discs are numbered as well, which is quite nice. And they all have different, slightly different artwork on each disc. So even though the quality on the DVD releases might not have been the best, they are very nice overall when it comes to the packaging. So pretty cool. And then this probably is my favorite cover, the cover of season 4. And this is probably my favorite season of the show overall, if I had to pick a favorite season. This one's called No Surrender, No Retreat. Very fitting. There's the side, and there's the back. So it doesn't seem like there's quite as many extras for this one, but still quite a lot. Very nice. And the menus, by the way, on these are also excellent. So they definitely put a lot of effort into this release, which is pretty cool, or those releases. And then we have Babylon 5 in the beginning, which was actually the first of many Babylon 5 movies. And this is the only one that is included in its own separate case. And this is probably the best of all the Babylon 5 movies. So if you're going to watch any of them, probably watch this one. But if you're new to the franchise, again, you want to watch this in between seasons 4 and 5, because that was actually when it aired. So yeah, so don't watch it before the show, don't watch it after the show, watch it in between seasons 4 and 5. That's where you want to watch it, because most of it does take place in the past, but there is parts of it that kind of relate to where you're at in the storyline when you watch it. So that is where you want to watch it, in between seasons 4 and seasons 5. And this, honestly, again, of all the Babylon 5 movies that they did, this was easily the best one in my opinion. So that's that, and I do like that they have that, so that way, I should say that the way that I had them ordered in the placings in the set is basically the watch order, so pretty cool. And then of course we have season 5, which was the last season. You know, Babylon 5, gotta have 5 seasons, right? So then this one is The Wheel of Fire. Very, very nice. And there's the side and the back. Very nice. Cool. And that is all of the season sets. So then we have the movie collection, which contains all of the movies, or at least all of the movies that were airing during the final season. And each of these, which we have Third Space, River of Souls, and Occult Arms, basically take place at different points in the timeline. The last one, Cult to Arms, actually takes place kind of basically in between the last 2 episodes, essentially, and actually sets up for the short-lived spin-off show. And oh yeah, and the artwork, by the way, if you're wondering, in the cases in these is just the same artwork recycled, so not really much point showing that. And then what else do we got here? Oh yeah, right. And then we have Crusade, which of course only lasted for about 13 episodes, unfortunately. But pretty cool that they have that. And there actually are a few extras, at least, on here. So if you like Crusade, then this is still the only way to get Crusade. Well, I mean, you can get it on your own, but yeah, so that's pretty nice. Or on its own, I should say. There you go. And then, last but not least, or actually, yeah, probably least, we have the post-series movies, The Legend of the Rangers, which is pretty poor, but it is cool that you at least get to see Jakar for the last time. And, oh yeah, there's the back. And then we also have The Lost Tales, which is sort of a anthology thing, which is basically two storylines, essentially two short storylines. One of them's pretty good, one of them's kind of boring. That's just my opinion. As to which is which, well, you be the judge. So then we have the Blu-ray set, which, as you can see, is much smaller packaging compared to the DVD collection. But that, of course, is because it only contains the main show and the pilot. And this is a very nice cover here, featuring a lot of the ships and stuff. Pretty cool. And there's the side here. And then if you're wondering about the size of this, it's basically the size of a regular DVD case instead of a Blu-ray case, so they could kind of fit more of the discs in there. But on the back here, which is kind of neat, is it actually showcases each of the seasons with the artwork from the season sets, which is pretty neat. And if we open it up here, basically the whole thing comes in this one big case, basically like that. And so you've got the artwork there, pretty much the same on the outer sleeve. And then you open it up, and oh, look at this. It's all the discs pretty much kind of stacked on each other, or at least one or two stacked on each other. So there you go. So you've got it all like that. Slightly different packaging from the US version, but it's more or less the same. The main difference being, I believe, that the discs are black on that set, from what I saw. So there you go. So it's kind of a little bit cumbersome to get the the discs and stuff out, but again, it doesn't take up a lot of shelf space, and it is Blu-ray, so they're pretty durable. They're a lot harder to scratch and stuff than DVDs. So as long as you're careful, you shouldn't have any problems. But one thing I really don't like about this set is, well, first of all, none of the extras, pretty much, from the old DVD box sets were carried over. None of them. It's just the main show. But what is listed as special features is the Babylon 5 The Road Home trailer for the recent animated movie, which is, kind of neat. And The Gathering. Babylon 5 The Gathering, the pilot that starts the show. Yeah, for some reason they listed that as a special feature instead of just saying it includes the original pilot. So one of the things that I was really upset to find when I started watching this set was that the special feature disc, which is basically should just be called The Gathering, because that's pretty much all that's on it other than the Road Home trailer, is all the way in the back of the case, right at the back. So I just kind of assumed that it would be on disc 1. So I'd pop in disc 1, and I'm like, okay, where's The Gathering? And come to find out, it's all the way in the back. So I actually went through and rearranged everything so that I could have that disc right at the front, whereas where it should have been in the first place. But yeah, so very annoying. I don't know if that's the same on the US set. I think it is. I can't remember. But yeah, so very annoying that they did that. I don't know why they decided to put it all the way in the back when it should have been at the front. But whatever. The main thing, again, is to just have the series in high definition. So yeah, if you're like me and you have the old DVD sets, I would hang on to them just so you can have those bonus features. But when you want to watch the actual show, this is definitely the better quality version to have. So yeah, and as for the movies, apparently there's been rumors that we are going to be getting a movie collection coming down the line, so I'll probably get that as well. But honestly, I mean, for me, the main thing that I cared about was just having the main series, because honestly the main series is far better than most of the movies, at least in my opinion. So as to whether or not we'll get Crusade, who knows, but again, don't really care that much. But anyway, so if you're a Babylon 5 fan, I think you owe it to yourself to get this collection, but it's definitely not the best. It has a few small problems, but at least it doesn't take up much shelf space.
Overall, Babylon 5 by this point has pretty much solidified itself as one of the all-time great science fiction shows of not just the 1990s, but of all time. And even though many of its digital effects don't quite hold up to today's standards, its storytelling elements very much do, to the point where the effects just kind of become part of the aesthetic of the show itself, because the storytelling is just that good. It's a series that is very rewarding with patience. Elements that seem very throwaway and non-consequential become incredibly important later on in the story, making for an incredibly original and truly great science fiction series. Thanks for watching this retrospective video. Be sure to subscribe for more videos, and until next time, be sure to consume as much entertainment as humanly possible, and I will see you in the next video.